And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, Tom Vasel here, and we're taking a real quick look at the newest expansion for Battleground Fantasy Warfare, the Lords of Vlachold, Vampires. Now this is not going to be an over-exhaustive thing, and if you've never played Battleground Fantasy Warfare, well, check out my original review, because I'm going to assume you have. You probably wouldn't be watching this anyway. You could start with this. This is a starter set, but it adds vampires. So let's take a look at what's inside the set, and we'll come back for my impressions. Okay, so we're going to take a look here. First we have Dagon, the first Voivod. I don't even know if I pronounced any of that correctly. One of the things I thought was odd is that he's unique. He can only have one, but I got 3 cards in here. Is this so I can share this game with 3 other people? Is there a way to make someone unique duplicate? I don't know. But that's a cool picture, you know, with the horses here. Some nice, powerful things. But you'll notice on the front here, there's these little blood tokens. And that's because he has the ability Drain here. Now, he's not the only one with Drain. Several other units have Drain. And whenever you Drain, these thralls here, for example, are vassals. Now, vassals are, that's a terrific word, but whenever you drain somebody, you're going to look and see what the range of your draining is. So, for example, Dagon here has a range 6 inches for draining. If a unit's within that range who is a vassal, you basically will hit them some damage. And then for each damage that you hit them, you're going to mark off these tokens here. These can be used for blood powers. There's all kinds of blood powers that you can do. They can help you stand your ground. They can help you when you're hitting and defending. They can help you get your hit points back. And there's a whole card that tells you the different powers. You'll erase them and use these powers for various things. He doesn't have a lot of life here, but with that draining, he can be pretty deadly. And then he has the Voivod Knights. Man, I'm mispronouncing that. They also have Drain in their cavalry here and charging. Okay, so your typical knights. Then we have the Lords here, which is very similar. And they have a shorter Drain range, but that's it. But I do like them because of that ease and simplicity of draining and getting in. And then these Bloodstalkers here, they're vassals and they drain. I don't know why you would use them as vassals. They're very short hit points to get hit here, but they can drain. Maybe you can drain them and after they drain other people. I'm not sure. And then we have a bunch of vassals. And honestly, there's not a lot of things that's special about them, with the exception of the thralls here. The thralls have ecstatic suffering, which basically means for each one of these boxes that's checked off, you know, as you get drained, they're gonna stand morale much better, and they will take wounds a little bit less. Then we got some heavy archers, and you know there's some arrows here on the sides, and also you'll notice that there's a token down here on the bottom, and you can spend a command action on your turn to mark off a perseverance box, and it lets you decrease dice by 1 on courage checks, getting attacked, etc. Over here, halberdiers, crossbowmen, spearmen, you know, kind of basic stuff. And then werewolf pack. Of course you're going to put these in your army. The problem is they're uncontrollable. They always do. Close combat takes 3 command actions to personally control them. But when you're rolling 7 dice and hitting that strong, do you care? That's pretty much it. They're fearsome too, but pretty neat. And then very similar are the warriors in the mist. Not as strong as the werewolves. They could hit harder, but they're incorporeal. They have soul strike. They're terrifying. They have a lot of special abilities. They're 341 hit points. The werewolves are 321. Frankly, I think I would run the werewolves just because, well, there are fewer rules to look up. They have more hit points, and I just think werewolves are cool. But I can see how people use both of them. And then there's all different cards in here that show off different artwork. We have Undying Scorn, Fatalism, the Red Harvest, where here you can, when you roll to hit, you get +1 attack, and you're like sucking up the enemy damage. That's kind of cool. Tenacity, Accuracy. These are normal cards, but I'm just showing you the different artwork that's on them. And this game comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double-sided cards with special abilities on them. I still am not a huge fan of the artwork of this game. These above shots aren't bad. It's the close-up shots that I'm not as much of a fan of. And I really don't like the font they use here. It's hard to read. But, you know, the different pictures and how they work. Everything fits in the box, and this game assumes that you might not have played before because it comes with the quick start rules and the 4.0 very thick rule book at this point. That's a pretty big rule book for a miniatures game, but it's done well. So, I mean, the art is subjective, obviously, but other than that, the quality here is the same as it's always been. This set is fine. Okay, so it's a fine set. There's cool things about it, but there's a couple of things. It's vampires. I'm not a huge fan of vampires, but my concern with this set is most of the units are not interesting. I got pikemen and bowmen and crossmen, and I got the same units everybody has. And there's werewolves, that's cool, and there's undead stuff, and then I got a few vampire units. It just feels like more than half the army is not spectacular. They're not unique. They're basically just another human army with some vampire overlords that are sucking the blood out of them to use their powers. That's not something I'm a big fan of as a mechanical level. It's a certain style. It's not my style. This one's okay. If I was listing all the armies in the order of me wanting to play them, this is pretty close to the bottom of the list. I might even pick the normal humans over this. I tend to like armies that have all really cool, weird, you know, from the dinosaur army to the monsters. I just like that sort of thing. This is fine, and again, if you like vampires, you might like this. And this has a more classical feel, like a few vampires. It's not a huge vampire army. So, you know, it's there. The game does feel a bit, you know, the way that it looks and everything. It feels like it's stuck in the late 90s, early 2000s from where it was at. But then again, it does match the rest of the expansions and stuff. So if you like this is fantastic. There's more of it here. More stuff, more units, more ways to mix it up. Another faction, that's cool. And I'm glad for that. It's not one that knocked my socks off per se, but it works in the context of the game as a whole. So there you go. That is the Lords of Vlachold. Hopefully that shows you if you want to get this army for your game. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment, a solid addition to the Battleground line.